Oh,
shit.
that's delightful.
I'm glad we didn't do any dirty jokes tonight.
Hello,
We were
everyone,
so good
and
tonight. Now
welcome
it's
to
Christian's fault.
Thursday Night Darkness Over New Orleans. I'm your host, Dylan. We're down Christian tonight. He's got to take care of his puppers. We hope the puppy is doing all right and gets well soon. So let's just jump in and start things off. Let's go ahead with...
Don't do it. I was going to talk about puppies, and it's going to get sad.
Robin.
Yeah.
Everyone, Robin the God on social media platforms, she, her. I will be playing the not Nosferatu, Zimitzi Ambrose Windsor, who's caught in a pickle tonight. And I hope I live. Who knows?
You have a new character sheet ready?
Wait, are we rolling? What's happening?
What?
Oh
What's
my
that?
god, I
What
just
happened?
remembered what's going on. Alright guys, my name is Thaddeus Aldis. Tonight I will be a rock man, and I'm not so much in a pickle. Maybe I'm in a brine.
I like
You are
that.
marinating.
I'm marinating.
Nice.
I'll marinate on that one.
Well said. Like I said, my name is Dylan. I'm your storyteller. You can find me across all forms of the interwebs. Roll number 4, the name Dylan with a Y, because that's the cool way of spelling it, guys. Let's do it. My pronouns are
follow
he,
him
they.
everywhere. I went the wrong way.
Without any further ado, let's sink our fangs into this week's episode of Darkness Over New Orleans. Blah.
Blah.
When last we left off, our coterie had just left the fan boat location, Fast and Loud Fannies. They were in the car for no more than 10 seconds before Ambrose decided that it was time to give his mommy a call on his cell phone. As soon as Ambrose said to the other person on the other line, "My name is Ambrose Windsor," Max reached behind and grabbed the phone out of Ambrose's hand and said, "You can't do that." Ambrose went to a frenzy, got out of the car, and said to Max they were going to fight.
And I quote, "I'm gonna fuck you up."
That's not how that went, though.
Put him up. Put him up.
Why, Otta?
Why you wanna?
So Max, being the leader and the fighter of the group, says, "Listen, man, we're not going to do this. Just, you got to calm down. You really want to do this?" And the beast pretty much told Max, "Yeah, we're doing this." So Ambrose turns into a really creepy, crawly, scary thing by getting on all fours, popping out its limbs, and just like scuttling forward on the ground. Love that. That's awesome.
I love and hate it.
That's what dreams
I
are made
definitely
of.
didn't dream about that. Just on my... What's Some just get under my bed?
It's train spotting.
Baby, I'm
Oh
I'm a,
no!
oh my
Oh
god.
no! Oh no! I'm the baby on the ceiling.
I just
It's Requiem for a Dream. Anyway,
Oh,
it made me want to
shit.
get rid of my cat. No. It's fine.
Max then spoke directly to Ambrose's beast, and pretty much after putting his boot on his back, told the beast, "You gotta go. He's under my protection now." Last things that the beast said to Max was, "I've already called several people to come get you," and then faded back into Ambrose. Some heated discussion was going back and forth between Ambrose and Max after, Ambrose regained composure himself and got back in the car. The entire time, Aubrey was on the hood of the car making jokes, not really giving two hoots about what was going on.
I was very committed to my drawing.
Exactly. And once everyone was back in the car and started driving, Max gets a phone call from their old coterie member, Kiernan, who just so happens to be over in Ireland. He let the coterie know that he is doing well, his family is prospering, they are having a very good time being together and catching up. Imogen is doing well, and she's treating him very well. At this time, he also gave the coterie some very important life lessons that needed to happen. Whether or not they act upon these words of wisdom or not, that's up to those characters. The rest of the evening, the coterie decided to each of them go back to their own home and really reflect on what happened. Aubrey went back to his apartment and what were you doing again? You were building up another fort, and you were...
I was, looking in the mirror and realizing I really like who I am as a person. Like, you know what? I don't need to always wear the mask. And then I went and put on a D&D mask.
And Max had gone back to his boxing gym, and his watchdogs had taken care of all the UV lights throughout the entire gym. Everything was nice and clean.
Of the watchdog's name. It's still so cool. Watchdog.
Then Max called Angelo and gave him all the information as to what happened that evening in terms of what they saw. Sent him the video of the Macaulay that they ran into and the eggs. And Angelo said, "I now need to report this to the prince. However, they are having a meeting with the mayor at the moment, so I can't disrupt them. I will also let the rest of our kindred in the city know what is going on." I asked Max to be safe, stay vigilant, and try and relax a little bit. Max asked him how he's enjoying his new job, and Angelo said that he hates it. Ambrose went back to his home, and as soon as he entered the home, the little voice box that usually gives him a nice greeting was just gurgling sounds. Was not its typical "welcome home, sir," or anything like that. The house was particularly eerily quiet. Ambrose went upstairs to try and figure out what was going on, and ran to one of his Schlacha, who then reported that they were told to be quiet and that everything that they're on rounds, that they're doing their patrolling of the house. Ambrose then opened up the floorboards to look and feed the house, to which he saw upon each of the bodies that he calls his mothers was a crown of black roses. Hurrying downstairs after screaming in terror, the little miniature versions of his coterie that Ambrose had created came running around the corner, each of them wearing little crowns as well, saying that, "Ambrose, you were here a few hours ago, and you told us to be quiet, and you also put the crowns on us and called us your little princes. Ambrose then realized that after the little meat boy said that Ambrose had fed the house earlier this evening, something was very, very wrong. The fact that he was here earlier was equally as wrong. And the only thing he could do was to destroy his 3 little meat children.
He had other options.
Going back upstairs, he popped the IV into his veins to feed the house properly. And then immediately sent a text message to his coterie saying, "Devora has found me." Just as Ambrose was starting to get tunnel vision from the blood loss, a whisper behind him says, "I never lost you. That's where we're starting off tonight's episode. Players, the stage is yours. Let's first start off with Aubrey after receiving the text message.
Aubrey is running around the house. He first has fully adorned himself in our boy's battle attire. He's dressed like a barbarian wizard, much like our former dungeon master. And he's looking in the mirror and he's like, this isn't the fit. And he runs and puts on his normal skin-tight jeans and mesh t-shirt, throws on his jacket, grabs his gun, looks around the house for bullets, and then makes his way out to the car, runs back upstairs because he forgot the keys, grabs the keys. I swear to God, if you're not all right, you're next, big guy. You've been fucking with me my entire life, but you won't take this from me. And he goes to start the car. Just, please, this time, just stop, okay? I put premium gas in you, and you know how this works. And he cranks it. It almost doesn't turn over, and then, oh, good girl. I'm going to put so much windshield wiper fluid in you. I've been watching videos. Makes his way towards the house on the edge of town.
So is this your first time driving a car?
Oh no, I've been training in the parking lot. So I can do all sorts of things, but if I have to parallel park, it's not happening.
I can do donuts.
I'm really good at left, my right. Curbs have been ruined.
Stoptionals.
This is a 4x4 vehicle. It's meant to go off-road, and I'm not on the road very often.
Sidewalks are considered off-road. All right.
Exactly.
Let's head
You
over.
should see how quick those pedestrians move.
Let's head over to Ambrose as you are slowly starting to fade into darkness of blood loss. You just heard, "I never lost you," come from behind you.
Ambrose turns around. He rips the IV out of his arm as he's turning it so quickly, and he stares at the figure that's behind him, where the voice is coming from. And what does he see?
You see your Slacha standing there and giving you a small grin, a half grin, and then turning away from you and heading towards the open window that's on the wall. As he passes, go ahead.
No, he's crawling towards the Schlotka, and he's trying to get up. He's stumbling. He's falling into the side of a wall and lifting himself up, trying to get to the Schlotka.
As you say that, it takes its hand and puts on one of the armchairs that's against the wall, which is for some reason turned facing the wall. He turns it around, and there are 2 bodies that are just slunched over in the chair. You've never seen these people before, but they are clearly drained of all their vitae. The Slacha...
Are they dead? They're dead?
From what you can tell, yeah. The Slacha turns to you, smiles, and says, "Why should I wait? There's so much more fun to be had."
Get back here! And he runs and lunges at the Schlotka.
As you do that, you see the Slotchka leap backwards out the window. And as it's doing that, you see its whole body just transform into Thorn. And the last thing you see is Thorn smiling wildly at you as it disappears into the darkness of the night outside of the window.
Oh, God. And he leans out the window and he grips the still of the window as he's leaning out, and he's screaming, "Coward! You're a coward!" So am I. I can't stay here anymore. And he turns towards the bodies and he stands over them, inspecting them. He's leaning against the chair because he's just so weak.
Mhm.
What does he see? Just investigating them.
Give me
are they
a
dead?
investigation and resolve.
And my blood die.
Sounds like a lot of dice. I'm excited.
Actually, give me intelligence instead of resolve.
And then an investigation too?
Yes, please.
3, 4. Okay. So dark in here. 4 failures, 2 successes, and 1 critical success. So 4 successes and 4 failures, even.
All right. There's no black and blues. There's no contusions or nothing. You don't see any form of fight. The only thing that is of notice is they both have their left sleeve rolled up. And on the inside of their forearm is a tiny red dot. Very similar to the size of the IV that you use to feed your house.
Oh. That means it was all for nothing. I killed my little ones for nothing. And he grabs the 2 corpses by the heads, and he's going to try to rip them apart, even in his weakened state. He's going to try to tear them apart.
1 second. Okay. Are you trying to like
Rip their
modelize
heads
them or
off.
just...
He's going to just rip and destroy these things like he destroyed the dolls.
Okay. You're going to give me a strength brawl because this is now a full human. But remember, you are extremely thirsty. You've taken several dots of blood loss because of trying to feed the house.
Right. So would I add another blood die? Like a bestial?
You should have 3 blood die.
Yep.
So out of your strength and your brawl,
It doesn't matter because they're all failures. Even the blood die. They're all failures.
okay.
They're all failures. Fuck.
Ambrose, as a person, you pass out. But your beast wakes up again, taking over your body in full. And it shouts out into the darkness, "We will see you again. I guarantee next invitation will be much kinder." And then your beast begins to prowl through the house, taking inventory of all the still animate toys that you have, the things that you have made. It runs its hand sleekly across everything, as if testing for dust, making sure everything is clean, pristine, the way it should be. No dirt, no garbage. Everything must be perfect. He sits down in one of the chairs, and it begins to sing to him a gentle song. He smiles and begins to laugh as he takes the arm from the armchair up and slowly feeds on it. We're going to jump back over to Thaddeus. Aubrey.
Have I arrived yet?
We'll say that it's taken you the proper amount of time for you to arrive.
So gun in hand, he flings open the car door. Keys are still in the ignition. The beeper has long since worn away on the car. So, like, where a normal car might ding, this one's kind of like a speak and spell toy that's fading over time. As he makes his way inside, his one headlight that works facing the house. It sputters as he makes his way up the driveway. He looks back at the cars. The car runs out of gas. Sighs, looks in through the window, and what is he seeing on the ground floor?
I think that the windows would probably be... Robin, are your windows barred up? Are they closed off? How does your house present if you're trying to look inside of it?
They're old, broken, rotting shutters. Some of them hang off the sides. Some of them are still on, but barely. It's rotted by humidity and age. If you could see behind them, you'd see thick, heavy curtains that look leathery, almost velvet to the touch, soft but thick. And they're human, flesh-toned.
This is ironically the perfect place for this house to be. Everything about this fucking side of town. As he slowly turns the knob, he puts it just enough so that it's open, so that he can throw his weight against it and push his way in through the door. Aiming in every direction, not necessarily seeing any particular movement. You're still upstairs, correct?
Nope, he's on the first floor now.
Making his way room to room.
We'll say that you start with the left room where you first met the three little meat boys, who just so happened to be a pile of mush on the floor.
I don't know if I'd have the cognizance to know what I'm looking at.
Exactly. I was gonna say it doesn't have the clothing or anything to discern what they were. It's just it looks like ground meat just dropped on the floor.
Gross.
And you go around to the kitchen, extremely underused room, but still pristine condition, very tidy, very clean. Going back to the entrance of the house, you start to hear soft song being sung from the room to the right.
That's almost on par for everything about this place.
It's actually a familiar tune. Something you can't quite recall where you know it from, but there's something to it that is comforting. As you head inside, you see Ambrose sitting in an armchair of what you can only assume is a person. And that chair is where the music is coming from as well. Ambrose is no longer feeding on the chair. He's just sitting there, basking in the glory of his home, his things, his creations.
Darling, if this was a trick for a booty call, and he spins the gun, lifting his back, for the slides his gun in. You don't have to use such crass tricks. I would have come for the asking. Oh, are we doing a little bit of role play? You must be muted because we're not catching anything you're saying.
No, am I allowed to?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yep. Because now that you've fed, you're
Great.
a little more back to your normal self.
Hello, Aubrey. How are you, darling?
Having a better night now that I see you are intact, aren't you?
Suppose that's depends on the definition of intact.
Well, unhinged has always been your most attractive trait.
Do you like my chair? Isn't she lovely? Listen to that. Listen. Just listen. Ah, the sweetest melody. Like a songbird. It's why I chose her. That and her golden hair.
The chair?
Mother. She
Which
sings.
one?
Oh, they are all precious to me. Never mind which one. They are all precious, Aubrey. Would you agree? Isn't she perfect? I didn't keep this
just
one.
fine.
I didn't keep this one locked away like the others. The others, they're not like this one. This one has a darkness in it.
Tell me about her.
Get your own mother, Aubrey.
Oh, so she's got more than a little darkness in her. She's got a spiteful little boy sitting on her like a throne.
Yes, and she's mine, and you can't have her.
I don't long to take your things.
Well, that's good. I don't like the people playing and taking my things. I don't like people touching my things. That's why I had to do it, you know. That's why I had to destroy my little ones. But I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought it was Devore that fed them.
Honey, have you had
Yeah.
some bad blood?
Not at all. I had the most exquisite blood from Mother. It's like milk.
What do you mean you destroyed your children?
I took them gently and I cradled them. I told them that I loved them. Devore was here, but not quite how I remember her, in the form of my Schlotka. And she stood before me and behind me, around me, in me.
You're speaking nonsense. She would have taken you.
But what fun would be with that? There's no amusement there, Aubrey. There are sadists who like to see their fledglings hurt and twisted and beat under their boot. You know what that's about, don't you? You know what that's about intimately.
No, my child was a happy one, and I can't.
I'm talking about Aether and yourself.
Let's not compare scars tonight.
He enjoys it too, no doubt. Playing with you, twisting you. As mine does.
Yes, I'm rather used to being treated like property, and not necessarily one that someone appreciates or covets.
To a sire, this is what you are. But you are also mine, Aubrey. And I don't like people touching my things. So for every time he has struck you and he puts his hands on the chair and lifts himself to full height, towering over Aubrey, stalking towards him, for every time he's laid a hand on you or used his blood magic on you, I shall repay it in full. One day, I hope you realize that.
We should be far more concerned with what you face tonight. Can Kessler move? Can Kessler
Kessler.
be relocated? Are we
Bits and
stuck
pieces
here?
of him. Bits and pieces of him are everywhere. My house is rooted to where the earth is. I'm rooted to the earth. It's a Tzimisce thing. Our domains are precious to us.
If she knows where you're nesting, you're not safe here.
Oh, she knows much more than that, and she has taken my face. She's strolling upon the town as we speak, with it, doing God knows what. She was my Schlotka. She presented as such. She fed the house, but it was not with her blood. I was mistaken. Of course it wasn't with her blood. It's too precious. But I killed my little ones because I thought for an instant someone took what was mine. So I destroyed them. Because I love them. I love them so much that I'd rather kill what is mine than let Devore have it. Do you understand me, Aubrey? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the visceral depth of this possession that I have? And he grabs Aubrey by the chin and pulls him closer. Smell. Divine, darling.
Yes,
I
I've
crave.
been treated as property before. I'm used to it. But it's lost its luster on me. As it seems you've lost something this evening. And you have no interest in getting it back. Thorn, that part of you, she can just take it. And you'll do nothing. You'll sit here amongst your possessions and let her covet something that belongs to you.
There was something that belonged to me once. She was the first person I gave my heart to. I was innocent. It was an innocent heart. It was good once. It was a good heart. And it is the reason why no one will see it again. She is the reason why no one will see it again. It was perfect. She ruined it. She shaped me in her own image. Do you understand what a Tzimisce is, Aubrey? We are the fiends, not because we can transform ourselves into hideous beasts, presenting what's inside of you on the outside, as Nosferatu do. It's not it. See, the true horror of a Tzimisce, that we crave torment and pain. We love it. Pain, pleasure, beginning, end. That is what I love and crave every night. And it is only because of you and Max that I've held back. But tonight has proven that I shouldn't anymore. I've held back for too long, and look what has happened.
What has happened?
I gave in to your love, friendship, trust. I was good for 10 years. I thought I was.
And what would you have done differently? If not for the sake of love? How would that have changed the outcome of tonight? You had been here amongst your things? That wouldn't have stopped her game. The only difference is you weren't here when it happened. And that's probably for the best.
There's no way that I can remain in this form as I am and still survive. I told Kiernan, yes, I do survive every time. But I'm the only one that survives. And that is a sacrifice that I make every time.
And now she's made off with a piece of you.
She made me in her own image. Perhaps we are one.
Can we shrink
Oh.
that number?
Ambrose turns, and his shoulders sag a little bit. His head drops, and he falls bonelessly into the chair, as if he was one of the corpses that were upstairs. He just leans against the inside of this balloon chair, stroking the inside of it.
It continues singing to you as you're stroking it, singing la la loo, la la loo, oh my
Aubrey
little star sweeper.
How wonderfully off-putting.
And Aubrey, you remember this song now. You remember this song used to be sung to you as you were a child.
Why does your chair know this song? Would you say that the pitch is similar as well?
The pitch is not similar. The voice, though beautiful, sounds tired. Also, Ambrose, with having fed, you have all but 1 dot of hunger of blood left, so you're pretty much back to normal.
That was
at this
going to be my
point.
next thing, so I think we need to get you fed.
Aubrey, come here, my darling. Come sit with me. There's enough room.
I don't
Don't be
find the
afraid.
same. I'm not afraid. I don't find the same comfort.
You will. Come. And he takes one of the arms and he lifts it. Feed.
He takes a very cautious step forward. The only thing breaking the sound of this song and the melody is the click of his boots and the metal that hangs from them on the floor as he takes a single step forward and freezes in place. Darling, I really think we need to come up with something if she has Thorn. And he takes another step forward. I don't think waiting here for her to get you is smart. And another step forward and then reaches out his hand. I think we should come away from this place for now. The house is fed. It has time. Come on now. Sure that we should at least get you somewhere safe.
I said, sit! And he grabs Aubrey's hand and rips him into the chair. And he stands immediately and looks at the chair. Now hold him there.
1 second. Can you please give me a strength brawl? I need both of you to do that, please. Strength brawl.
It's not my skill set.
Actually, Thaddeus, you can give me dexterity brawl instead.
Do I give strength brawl?
You do strength brawl, Thaddeus
Alright.
can do dexterity brawl. Because he's trying to keep himself.
And 1 blood. 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 failures. And we
Oh, boy.
have 3 successes and 1 critical success. So 3, 5. 5
On the
successes.
blood die, what was it?
Blank failure, but not a messy failure.
Okay.
A success and a failure.
Alright, so Ambrose effectively takes you and tosses you into the chair. Ambrose, when you command the chair to hold him there, the chair doesn't really respond right away. You see it apprehensively move its hands inward and then return back to the armrest position.
Mother, you're being difficult. Hold him. Show him how much you love him.
Really, I'm being tossed and a little off balance. He topples into the chair. I don't enjoy having your hands put on me when I didn't intend to give you permission.
You telling me what to do, Aubrey?
I'm telling you to keep your hands to yourself. You're not in your right of mind. This is not healthy. This is not safe. You're going to wallow in this place until she returns.
And what do you suggest, Aubrey? There's nowhere I can go where she cannot find me. For the past 10 years, she's told me that she has always known where I am.
The song at this point has an uncomfortable shiver sent up his spine as it sparks comforting memories. But, and trigger warning, the memories are laced with a sadness there. There is, sure, the times where she held him as he fell asleep backstage at shows because they didn't have a room for the night. But it's deeper than that. It's watching you cling to something that is not safe for you. The way he had to watch her abuse her body and give herself to narcotics that weren't safe. A young boy shouldn't have to take things out of his mother's hand and put her to bed and sing to her. And he tries to stand but finds his legs fish leggy and weak. We need to come away from this place. And we just need to get you anywhere. Let's go anywhere. Not here. And he looks to the chair, and absent-mindedly, the tiniest fleck of blood traces down his cheek. And before you can get eyes on any sort of taste, he wipes it clean.
As you are looking at the chair, just casually looking at it gently as you're turning, you see as you're moving away from it, its arms remove themselves from the rest and softly reach out towards you, and the singing has stopped. You think you hear it say, "My Aubrey."
Thorn, Ambrose, my love. Trembling as he wraps his hand around the fabric and tell me the truth of this chair.
Ambrose kneels in front of Aubrey and looks into his eyes, slides his hands into his, brings them up to his lips, kissing them. She is our mother. And Mommy loves you very much, Aubrey.
Is it her? How long has she been here? Is it her?
And he pulls back. What do you mean, her?
I'm sorry, it's just the song and this place and everything.
She is just someone I plucked off the streets. A wandering, mindless little thing.
You would never. Of course, you wouldn't lie to me. Would you?
I'm not lying about this, Aubrey. took this woman off the street. She was wandering. She was out of her mind. Blonde. She was beautiful. Well, she had the shadow of beauty, you know? Someone when they were younger, before drugs, before
Have you?
hardships.
And you can return a chair to how they looked before?
I've never done such a thing.
But you could.
I've
If
never
you
done
will.
such a thing, Aubrey. I
But-
don't know.
You could.
Yes, I suppose I could turn my entire house back, but I've elevated them beyond human restriction. I've made them works of art. Didn't you once tell me that I was an artist, Aubrey? Didn't you tell me that? Didn't you praise me for that? And now you're questioning whether I should turn this thing back and...
Only
My-
tyrants cannot be questioned, and you're not a tyrant. You're not a monster. But you can. The way you hurt the children, you can take that back. The way you made this chair a chair, lovely as it is, you can take it back. Yes?
Suppose. Possibly. If I concentrated, if I desired it to be, sure, why not? I could put the drapes back into
No, I'm not
people who
talking
they
about
were.
the drapes. I'm saying the chair.
Why the chair? Why are you so fixated on the chair? Just enjoy it, Aubrey. Enjoy it. This is a gift for you. This is a gift. And
I'm
you're
enjoying
spoiling everything.
to see it as it was before it was a chair.
Well, I suppose. I don't know if I could do it. I'm talented, but I'm not.
He takes a step, finding his feet again. He's a little more fish-leggy than he thought. He takes a step and he stumbles a little bit towards you, catching you just on your shoulder, looking up at you, and you could do this. I need to see something.
For you, Aubrey. For anyone else, no. For you, this one time. This one time. Do you understand me? There is no asking for anything else in this house. This is my domain.
Do you think I would ask you something like this twice?
Well then. Just for a moment. Sure. If it will please you.
All right, give me a
Think of
rouse
it-
check.
Think of it as my apology. Rouse check, alright. Success, but not a
Okay.
critical one.
That's fine. Now let's go with your
Yep.
flesh crafting
Fly.
and vicissitude.
Two critical successes, one regular success, and one failure.
Okay. Excuse me. All right, 1 second.
Dylan, if this isn't just a chair, man.
Ambrose begins remolding the chair, trying to remember exactly how he built the chair from its original form. It's like trying to make a pottery back into a lump of clay after it's been set in the kiln. The pieces don't go back together smoothly. There is no elegance to this process. It is noisy. It is unpleasant to watch. If you were living, your stomach would churn from the sights.
And Ambrose, as he's doing this, is smiling. Oh, this is going to hurt quite a bit. Crack.
Okay. And after about a good 10 minutes, part of a body is formed again. The arms are in their proper place. The torso is the way it should be. The upholstery, we'll call it, that was on the
Use the word upholstery.
that was on the chair is now covering parts of the body as clothing. There is a head sitting on the neck between the shoulders that is hunched over, long blonde hair draped over its front. The face is not visible, as Ambrose is now working on the lower parts of the body. The almost returned human is non-vocal at this point, almost as if being very used to this kind of pain and change, that they are non-responsive.
I think Aubrey's going to wait till a point where he's looking to make sure that there's no recognition there.
There is no recognition because you can't see the face. Right now, in its not complete form, it's still just another person, it's still just a body. Yeah, there's really no recognition from where you are.
Well, imagine however long it takes. If there's never going to be a point of recognition,
there will be when Ambrose is not hovering over it and remolding. There can definitely be a point where if you wanted to investigate, you can take a look to see who this is and who it might be.
He's definitely watching with some intrigue, a little bit of horror, but after a certain time it becomes like watching a butcher. A butcher to the tone of a craftsman that knows what they're doing. The hands are surgical, they're precise, even when they're experimenting in a fashion they've never done before. And his eyes watch it with the way somebody is awaiting either a scratch off when they need money. They're scratching the ticket and scratching the ticket, and you're seeing everything lining up, and it should be a reveal, but it's more akin to waiting for your verdict at a jury trial. And it's terrifying because the news could be the greatest thing that you ever had happen, or it could be a life sentence. And he's not sure what he's ready to hear. And even if it's nothing, it's an answer. And he'll just have to be okay with that when it comes.
You mustn't rush perfection, Aubrey.
No, I
Artists mustn't be rushed.
Doing his best to watch Van Gogh paint, Michelangelo finish the Sistine Chapel, and it feels like it's taking just as long, but it's probably just the sound absent as it would be because his heart no longer beats, but the familiar ringing in his ears, as if it were the way a phantom limb might still be felt on an amputee. He can hear his heart, he can feel his heart racing.
Last he puts his hands down and steps back. This is as I remember her, and I do keep in mind. Good memory. Just as beautiful. Sort of.
Is there any recognition in the face as Ambrose finishes?
Once again, it's slumped over. The hair's in front of the face. It's not. It's just like you're looking at someone who has their head down. Their hairs is obtruding the obtruding. Yeah, obtruding the face. Obscuring. Thank you.
Ambrose will step back and present the piece without lifting her head, just waving a hand, allowing Aubrey freedom to look upon it.
Aubrey kneels down and gently takes the figure by what would be her chin and wipes away the hair and looks into her face.
She lifts up and her eyes are closed, almost forcing them shut. You can see the frown of her brow as she's forcing her eyes closed. Um, and it doesn't take very long for you to realize and remember this face very clearly as you've been searching for it for many years now. In front of you is Clementine Valentine.
What's welling up inside Aubrey is a pot that's been set to boil for too long, and it's spilling over. A volcano is exploding. Rage is coursing through every part of his body. Adrenaline is a poisonous drug, and it makes one unclear. It makes their motives uncertain. It makes what they do next irrational, and he can't be irrational. Not now. It's never been him. Uh, Even when his actions seem brash, they're actually extremely calculated measures, and everything in him is keeping his bones would almost snap to hold them in place as he irradiates with a type of poisonous vitriol that's inside him. And he looks into her eyes, and it's so present. But how can he blame Ambrose? There's nothing about Ambrose that makes them able to understand what he's going through. You've completed a work of art.
Ambrose's face lights up. Thank you, Aubrey.
Always been
Thank you.
attracted to beautiful treasures. Here she's been, and you've kept her for me. Do you know who this is? Empress, do you know what it is you have squirreled away into your hoard of precious things?
They are my darlings. Of course. They don't need
Ambrose,
names.
do you know what it is you've squirreled away into your hoard? This one has a name, Ambrose.
I do not. I don't know its name, Aubrey. They are simply. She's simply mother. That's. And he looks at Aubrey.
It is Mother.
And he stares at Aubrey's face, studying it. The facial features, his nose, the bridge of it, his cheekbones, the cut of his jaw, his eyebrows, his ears. He studies his hair, his golden hair, and his eyes flicker to the woman, and he does the same, shaking his head and taking a step back. No. No. Aubrey, no. She's not. Aubrey, I wouldn't. Aubrey, I didn't know. I didn't know who she was.
Darling. Like a child who's broken something important to somebody. But again, like a child. Like someone who's not aware that their petulant actions affect others. He stands and takes a few steps forward. I don't blame you. In his words, betray a feeling inside his heart that Ambrose should have known. It doesn't matter that they couldn't have known. It doesn't matter that it's not in their behavior to ask. What you did was a transgression against someone he allowed himself to be weak in front of. And porcelain and strong is the mask, and it's perfect, and it disguises everything he's feeling in this moment. As a smile overtakes his lips, I don't blame you. Look, she's home.
What have I done? Oh, Aubrey,
You are, at your core, a dragon, and you covet that which is precious. But, Ambrose, she is not yours to keep.
As that happens, Clementine reaches her hand up and slowly holds on to yours, Aubrey. As she opens her eyes, when she touches your hand, you look back down at her and you see that there are tears slowly cascading down the sides of her cheek, or the sides of her nose, droplets falling off of her chin. And she just whispers to you, I am sorry
You
for
have
anything that I may have put you through in the past several years, Aubrey. I've been lost, so terribly lost. I never wanted or expected to be found by you. But after all this time, my heart is overfilled with love and joy being in your presence once again. Having you sit in my lap like you did when you were a child. Having me sing our song to you again. So much time has been taken from us. But we're here now. I don't know who this person is that you seem to be acquainted with, the one who altered me, the one who changed me, the one who hurt me. But I guess you could call it fate. That all my pains that I had given you had brought me to this point in time. And I had to live through a quite living hell to get you back to me. I know I don't deserve what I'm about to ask, but I would truly like it if we could start over. It doesn't have to be mother-son at first, it could be acquaintances, it could be long friends. But just to start again with my Aubrey is all I've ever dreamt of. And I understand if you cannot accept that for what I've put you through. And I will gladly be turned back into a piece of sitting furniture for all of eternity if that's what it takes. Just to have you sit in my lap.
What you've
and
done
let
to
me
me,
sing again.
what you've done for me is, what do you mean? What you've done to me? I I wasn't I wasn't there. Mother, I wasn't there. When you needed me most, I wasn't there. I was the silly boy. And of course, I'm just acquaintances. That maybe that's best. Maybe it's best if you'd certainly be a lot safer if I wasn't what I am.
Well, Aubrey, it's nice to meet you again. My name is Clementine, and I used to be a chair.
I'm sure you were a beautiful chair.
And she reaches up and puts her hand on the side of your face, very gently, very lovingly. As she
As
leans in, she
she
puts.
touches his face. He stops her dead in her tracks, looks her in the eyes. You don't need to hurt, poor woman. You were a wonderful mother to your son. It's a shame that he passed away all those years ago. And he begins to dominate and implant a memory. That every time she thinks of her son, she remembers all the good times they had, and what a good boy he was, and what a good mother she was. Because it's a shame that we have to get you back to your bed. The pills have been having an effect on you, and you've been getting lost. Poor woman, I know just the place to take you. And Aubrey thinks back on the soup kitchen and the church and the place that he cannot go, but a place that would graciously welcome someone after all the help he's given them. We really should return you. But you know, your son had a bit of a life insurance policy. It's not much, but it should help you get on your feet again. And he begins to plan a way to get the money that he was given by Kiernan and ensure that she has it. It's really quite a shame. Your son would be so lucky to be with such a wonderful mother, because you were, after all, a very wonderful mother.
Aubrey was the best that I could never be. He was the light in a dark, dark world. He was the warmth in the cold. He was the wind under our wings. I'm sorry to hear that he had passed.
Oh, yes, but, you know, I would love to just sit with you sometime. I work at the soup kitchen myself, and you can tell me stories about him, and I can make sure that you're checked up on the way that that wonderful boy would want me to make sure you were checked up on.
Aubrey used to love giving his time to others. The soup kitchen was almost his second home. How fitting that I return home in his second home. Yes, I will go with you. I will go with you. And she slowly starts standing up and having not used her legs in quite some time, having been very malnourished because she has not had food besides just the necessary bloods to keep her alive being fed to her. She's very weak in her feet. A gentle breeze could knock her over.
Aubrey wraps an arm around her waist and guides her arm over his shoulder.
Gross. His hand shoots out and grabs Aubrey's hand, and he stares at him and he squeezes. For a long moment, he stares at him, and it's the dragon that's staring back at Aubrey, a possessive thing that wouldn't allow something to be taken from its ward, a treasure.
Aubrey's mask
And he blinks as he's holding him and squeezing. You are the only one on this earth that I would do this for. And he squeezes his arm almost, on his wrist, almost as if he's going to break it. And then he releases it.
Not even a twinge of pain escapes what is now a bulletproof mask over his face. And if you were anyone else, darling, I would have you believing you a chicken, and I would be carving you for dinner. But you're not, and I'm not. And I only have to thank you, because you found her. Now allow me to lay my blessings upon you. Stand aside, my love, and know that in her place, I will always be here. Because you're all I have now.
And he stares at Aubrey with blood tears in his eyes, and his eyes flicker to Clementine. Goodbye, Mother. Then he turns around, pressing himself against one of the walls. He's refusing to see Aubrey leave with something so precious of his. And Ambrose's demeanor, his entire body, his language, looks as if he just lost somebody very dear to him.
And with that, it's a very good place for us to take a little break. I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. Bye.
No one's watching today, guys. We're fine.
And welcome back.
I'm gonna say it.
if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us, and welcome to the heartbreaking episode. If you've been with us since the beginning, hi. Sorry we're hurting you, but we're not
It's
sorry.
tears. He's not.
We're
He
just
feels-
gonna
gives him
jump
power.
right back into it, right from where we were. Aubrey, you were walking away with your mother in hand, and Ambrose had his back to you guys to not watch his property leaving.
Despite everything that's going on and the leaving and the door being shut, no matter how quiet it is, I imagine that it's the loudest sound in the world as
Yeah.
someone walks out of your house. And even in this moment, because it's just so Aubrey as he's making his way down the stairs, helping her with every step, very gingerly lifting her into the truck, he's worried because now Ambrose is home alone without protection.
So technically, Ambrose does have protection. He has his Slacha. He can.
Not comforting.
Well,
They didn't stop
they his
Devora
Slacha?
last time. They didn't stop Devora last time. Devora is the house. Is that's the thing? Devora's the whole house. They jumped out the window, but they didn't. They just went into the house. It's like everyone leaves you. That's painful.
All right. So you're heading into your car. Let's go ahead and see what Ambrose is doing now that they are alone.
The silence in the house is deafening, and he's leaning against the wall for several minutes before he pushes away. There was a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching expression on his face that was just crumpled and broken. And he's pulling away, and there's even more blood tears streaming down his face. That sadness turns into rage, quiet rage, as his face contorts and his mouth curls into a sneer. That is the last time I will ever give away something that is mine. And he slowly walks towards one of the windows and skims his hand down the drape and pulls it aside, watching Aubrey get into the car with his mother, Ambrose's mother, because at this point he feels as if Aubrey is taking not only a work of art, something that he has created, invested in, something he's loved, a piece in his house that is significant to him, but it feels as if he's watching his own mother being taken from him.
I don't know how in this
He let
moment I can hurt more for
it drop,
Ambrose than I do for
he
me.
walks back upstairs. What time is it now, Bill?
It's late. It's just. Oof. You guys were out in the water for a few hours. It's probably closer to 1:30.
The night is still very young then. Sort of.
Sort of.
The light is still very middle-aged.
He goes upstairs to where the bodies were. Well, let's back up real quick. As he's going up the stairs, he picks up the pieces of what was his little ones, the little dolls, and he's cradling it in his arms. He's trying to put them back together, but as he's looking down at them going up the stairs, he's like, oh, it's always the same. It's just not right when they're dead. Can't put them back together. They're not right. And as he's walking up the stairs, he goes up to his bedroom, his room. Well, the attic, the third floor. And he sees more carnage up there.
What carnage is up there?
Well, they tore apart the two bodies.
Oh yes,
Two
okay,
bodies that were
okay.
sitting in
Yes,
there.
yes.
And he begins to pick them up too. He places them in, we'll say like a skin bag or something. He's just putting everything in there. And he goes back downstairs. He walks outside into the back around, and he kneels down on the ground outside and starts to dig with his hands, his bare hands, clawing at the earth, making a hole, making a grave for the whatever's remaining of these, uh, his creations, these body parts.
Give me a. Just making sure I'm doing this right. Wits and awareness, please.
Oh no. Okay, let's unawareness.
Your beast has long subsided since then, at this point.
Okay. 2 failures, 2 successes.
In the darkness, even with a full moon in the sky, with the amount of trees and overhead and overgrowth that's around you, it's still fairly dark. And though you're focused on digging a hole, you can feel eyes on you. That feeling that you know, even from a dead sleep, when you know it's someone is just staring at you.
He stands, dropping the bag, and looks wildly around himself into the trees, through the thicket of the trees, the magnolias, the willows that are hanging down. He's looking everywhere. Show yourself.
You hear some leaves from nearby bush rustling, and the soft pattering of feet on the grass going not away from you, but not close to you either, almost around you.
He's going to follow the sound. If he can't see it, he's going to listen very intently and follow the sound. Come back. Take down your obfuscate and face me.
There's now a second set of footsteps running. And you hear one of the sets saying, "We don't have that. We just know where you're not looking." The other voice comes in and says, "Yes, we're just here to observe. Just to watch."
Who are you? Devors?
Yes.
The Thorns?
Oh, yes.
Are you not exhausted? Can't you leave me alone, please?
This has been an order. We must stay close enough for us to view, and far enough for you to not notice.
Why does she want me?
From behind one of the trees, you see a face pop around, and you see Thorn staring at you as he puts his hands in the side of the tree. He simply says, "You're just like us. An abomination," and he hides behind the tree. And from the other side, you see another Thorn pop out from a bush, and he says, "You were what she called a masterpiece, and you ran from your artist." And he dips back into the brush as well.
I am the artist. You
They
mistake
both
the
start
film.
laughing hysterically.
You know, when I was a child, I came across a servant with a piece of paper, a newspaper he had just ironed, prepared for my father. There was a family in the paper, a picture. Wealthy like mine, with a child about my age, and a nanny, a familiar one. Did she too mold you like she did with me? Pluck you from your mother's arms?
This one does hang on to the past, don't they? Oh, yes, always with, this is what happened to Ambrose as a child, this is what happened to Ambrose then. Never in the moment, never looking forward, always this sad, sad past. No, we don't have a sad, rich upbringing as you did. We were
Obviously.
just chosen. So sorry we didn't have the opulence that you came from.
One day I am going to devour her.
They begin to cackle loudly, to the point where Aubrey in the front yard, who's still putting his mother in the car, just tilts his head a little bit, thinking he heard something. But he's got something more important to take care of now.
You tell Devore that. She wants me so much. Very well. She shall have me. Not in the way that she wants. Because as much as I am hers, her creation, she is mine. She belongs to me. And one day I shall have her. And if anything, if you've been watching me for as long as Devore has, you should know that I don't like anyone touching what's mine. And what Ambrose gets, Ambrose wants. You can call it my privileged upbringing.
Such a child still, I see. Don't worry, she will hear all about it. She will know that she belongs to you. Don't worry, your message will be received loud and clear. Good evening, Ambrose Windsor. And you hear the footsteps disappearing into the dark in different directions.
And he kneels back down to continue burying the body parts.
All right. Aubrey, you are now heading back into New Orleans with your mother. Is she sitting in the front with you? You're muted. There you go.
Of course, yes.
All right.
Ah.
And what is the topic of conversation on the drive there?
Oh yes, this is a.
This is a long drive. It's about 40 minutes.
It's kind of like a skylight, but maybe it's like a floor light, like it's so you can see the quality of the road. The holes in the floor are normal in all cars now. Yes. What did you miss most about your son?
I missed mostly how he would always put himself out there and put others before him. He would hide behind a smile, even if he was hurting inside.
You say he would always Even when his heart told him not to. Even when every fiber of his being said it was time to take care of himself, he chose them. Everyone else.
Which is another reason why I think he became a star and so successful. He wasn't doing it for himself, he was doing it for his fans, his loving people from all around the world who just wanted to see him, who wanted to be in his presence. He had that about himself, you know, a presence that was just captivating. It made you drunk being in his presence. But I squandered that. I was looking for a different drink. I was looking for a different high. I missed so much of his success that I didn't get to celebrate with him.
I've been to many of his shows and I knew him quite well. I can't wait to tell you everything he told me about you. But I hope you don't mind. We have to make a stop first. We forgot someone. And he begins to make a U-turn and head back towards Ambrose's home.
Okay. We'll say that about 10 minutes go by when you make the trip and the U-turn. By this time, Ambrose, you had finished with the hole, and the bodies are now inside, and you've patted it down. It's a shallow grave.
He's walked around to the front of the house and he's sitting on the stoop of the stairs with his arms and on his knees and his head sort of bowed, but his eyes are looking up as he's watching the car approach.
You become illuminated in the single headlight glow that flickers anytime you hit like a pothole. And it gives you a couple of honks before turning at his best ability, which requires hitting a little bit of a curve. That's a 4-wheel drive, darling. Mother Clementine. That's what it's for. You just take them right up there on the curb, they say here in America. Hey, you getting in or what?
Turns behind himself and looks at Aubrey.
You gonna make me take our mother all by myself?
And he shoots up and runs to the car. No. I'd be delighted to come.
I suppose.
And he leans again inside of the car door. Hello, Mummy.
Inadvertently, she just shies away from you. A little bit out of terror, a little bit out of confusion.
All the hip young kids are calling people mum these days, so it's really quite normal. It's okay if you want to, they throw back, oh, no problem, son. It's just what they do nowadays.
I'll just sit in the back seat. And he opens, or should I sit in the trunk? I don't.
You're fine right where you are.
Oh, dear. She's
After all,
traumatized.
Wouldn't want to take my eyes off of you. You might get yourself into some trouble.
Oh, I just did. And he gets in and he sits down in the back seat.
I'm sure you did. But burying bodies is adventurous if you don't already have the hole dug.
Well, there was some Tzimisces there that wore my face and, Thorn's face, and they're watching me. They're running around in the forest somewhere. They're the Thorns. They found me. The Thorns found me. As soon as you left, they came.
Clementine turns around and says, "What do you mean they were wearing your face?"
It's an expression. It means smiling.
Yes, just means smiling, Mummy. That's it.
Wearing your face means smiling. I'll have to remember that.
It's really only for the young. Most people don't get it.
So where are we taking Mummy?
Well, I imagine the pastor will be quite busy this evening.
I'm sorry, the what?
But He does always take my phone calls, so you're not a fan of priests, I see.
We're going to a church.
Not a fan of churches either.
Are you a fan of churches?
I'm not adverse to them.
All right.
It's just a lowercase t. So it is like the movies, I guess.
I don't think I think I'll stay in the car while you give Mummy
Yes,
T
yes.
the.
Your house is the normal thing, and the church is the weird thing. In my experience, there's only one man hanging on the wall in a church, but your house has several. But all right then.
Wow. Listen, Aubrey, you can come and kneel down and worship in my house of horrors anytime.
Oh, well, only if you promise to visit my rectory.
Oh shit. You know, I really should show you one room that I have. It's really something.
The way we began this conversation and ended it, it just seems like
It's
I-
sexy. You'd like it.
I've never once had decor referred to as sexy, but
Oh,
now
it's sexy.
now I'm interested.
It's good. It's good. You'd have a good time.
Not into floral prints, if that's what you're wondering. It's not gonna get my motor going if we go in there. There's
Ah.
plastic on the sheets. Not
Just
really my
drive.
thing.
So we'll say that you get into the city again, and you bring your mother to the proper church that you want to drop her off at. You had called the pastor, and they are already outside waiting.
He is just wrapping up a story about, well, and you have to understand that's when Aubrey was really shredding, right? And this is of course by the second encore, and he's exhausted and he's tired, and a lot of people think, oh, he jumped into the crowd that night, and the crowd just loved it, and that became the way he ended most of his shows. But he tripped. In all
Yeah.
honesty, he tripped. He fell right in, and the crowd just ate it up. They caught him.
Yeah, definitely. And I heard he dated a really slutty model. He got all the bitches. Ain't that right, Aubrey?
I don't think that that's what we need to focus on here with. All right then, mother, let me help you out of the car. And he runs around the car and puts his arm around her.
And she gets out delicately with you. I want to thank you for your kindness and giving me so much to learn about my child. I truly appreciate these stories. They are a greater treasure than anyone could ever imagine.
Well,
I do regret that I don't think I ever got your name this whole evening.
You know what? You can call me Chance. Because everybody deserves a second one, right? Now, here's the thing. This phone, it's a little bit better than mine. It's a burner, I'm told. And I did just get a new plan, and I have unlimited minutes. But I guess I'll hang on to my old phone. It's available anytime at night. And my phone, you can only call me. I have so many minutes. Don't worry about the minutes. I have a lot of data, and that's what really matters nowadays. This phone, though, this one has unlimited. So you can call me anytime. If you need anything, I always pick up.
Well, thank you. I truly appreciate that. Oh, goodness. All right, well, let's take a step into the next adventure, shall we? She gets out of the car and starts walking towards the pastor. He gives you, Aubrey, a large smile, a nod, and then puts his arm around Clementine's shoulders, giving her his jacket that he was wearing, and promising her that she's safe with him in this house of God.
You take care of that beautiful lady. She's a delicate bird.
And that he was going to make her better, make her well, and get her on her feet again. After you say that to the pastor, he smiles at you again, nods, and says, I promise with every fiber of my being, we'll do right by her.
See you Tuesday,
Clementine
guys.
turns around once again, smiles at you, and blows a kiss, and says, I know I'm at the right place, because only an angel could have saved me from that place.
Aubrey has to like block the fact that like red crimson leaking out of his eye, and he wipes away. I can't. She used to call me a little angel. Ambrose, save me.
And Ambrose comes up behind. All right, Father, thank you for the sermon. Off you go now. Goodbye, Mummy.
Be nice.
I was being nice.
The pastor turns and says, This is your mother?
Oh
No.
no, it's not my mother. No. It's just about no. We're in a homosexual relationship.
It's just
Congratulations.
yes.
I wish you the
Oh, shit.
best.
Holy shit! I think this may be my church.
It's very progressive. He's very progressive.
Wow, no shit.
His trans youth outreach program is a thing of beauty.
Oh,
Yes. Get in the car.
I'm going into the car.
You don't get to live here.
Wow, I really like that priest. He is a nice. Okay, caller, that was wonderful. Yeah, let's go.
You're not his type.
All right, where are you two headed now?
So obviously McDonald's. After
Aubrey,
everything I've been through. Yes.
I think perhaps me and you should be alone for a little bit.
We're alone now.
No. Somewhere else. Maybe by the pier. Maybe in your home. I don't care. Just drive somewhere where we can be alone. We have
You've
much to talk about.
promised me a date, and I always wondered where you'd want to take me.
Hmm.
I think we could both use the distraction.
But I do love museums. Shall we?
I can't help but remember a story.
I don't remember that.
Against my better judgment. Let's go have a night at the museum. I've always wanted to meet a mummy.
You guys know that the museums are closed at this hour. It's
We're
2
breaking it.
o'clock now. It's later than 2 o'clock. You guys know that there's nothing open at this hour.
We can never go to a museum.
You cannot go to a museum.
I broke into a museum once. It's fine. We could.
Just
No?
feel like we have a lot of problems already.
Yeah, you're right. That's fine. Park here. We'll just walk.
He pulls over into an obscure parking lot, I'm sure, as a little bit farther than he should be away from the church, if anything, to put distance between himself and something he considers a rather sacred ground.
He gets out of the car and walks around to open Aubrey's door. By this time, he has a new pair of shoes on. They are not his Chanel shoes. They are boots that go over the knee with a little bit of a heel, but they're not what he once wore before. He opens the door and extends his hand to Aubrey.
Lovely shoes.
Come. And he pulls them out.
There's a sense of emotional drain that can be felt almost like an electric shock on the skin. Being around someone for as long as you have, it's noticeable.
He slips his arm around Aubrey's waist from the back, and he's walking very slowly up the sidewalk. It's dark. Every time there's a light, he'll make an effort to walk around the light.
Would you say that your love language is physical touch?
You've seen my love language.
Diablerie.
Intimately.
Yes.
Do not say that word, Aubrey.
It was a joke.
It's
Do we
not
not?
to me.
Is somebody listening?
Yes, they are. They're
Good.
here now.
What do
Aubrey,
you mean they're here now?
I mean we are being watched by the Thorns. They're here. Somewhere. Doesn't matter. Ignore them. Aubrey, and he's continuing walking on at a slow pace, pulling him closer. From what I gather, your clan and my clan, we don't get on.
I've read the Romeo and Juliet story. I'm a little different. I wouldn't have taken my life. I would have taken theirs, but they don't.
We should not have been. We are not right.
Been thinking that my whole life.
I listen to your music.
Charmer.
No. I took some CDs. I listened to it. It's wonderful. It was a true work of art, what you did.
Did.
You called the masses together. You knew how to do it. You used your voice to do it. Your charm. I have a feeling you can do it again.
Every
You have it
single
in you.
person in my unlife has told me to stop.
They are wrong. Yeah, you speak of things that you shouldn't have, but you have the right idea. You can command the masses. You can, as easily as I can mold human flesh, you can mold the minds, the hearts, the souls of people. I could never do that. Something intangible like that I could never do, and yet you do it so. You're an artist, Aubrey, in a way that I wish I could be. I am the physical and you are everything else.
You wound me, darling. You talk about the one thing I would long to do, but can't allow myself to do it. Your art can be practiced in the dark when no one's looking. Mine can only be enjoyed in front of thousands of people. It's an addiction. No more than yours, no less. It's an addiction, and if I give myself to it, I won't watch my words. I sing and speak my truth.
Aubrey, I love you in such a way that I would kill anyone that would try to silence you. You shouldn't be silenced. This, all of this. And he points to the buildings, some of the tall ones, downtown. All of this. The Camarilla. They are not for people like us, beings. We see things in a way others cannot, and that is the tragedy of an artist. That only we can perceive that which others can't.
Restrictions are for the people who can't, to keep us like them. They will never know the beauty of what you can do with your hands, and they will never appreciate the words that come from my mouth because we do what they could never do. And why should they restrain us? Who are they to restrain us?
In such a mouth it is, Aubrey. Your voice. Think together. Though our clans should never be. I think together
and that
we
concerns
can...
you.
That concerns me what? We shouldn't be?
I didn't choose my clan and you didn't choose yours. Why should it matter?
It matters a great deal.
To them. To them.
Yes.
And we are not them.
No,
We are
but we
not bound
must.
by the restrictions and their legacies. We are not tethered to their futures.
Aubrey, that mouth of yours has the power to do many things and get yourself killed.
I did that once. And I haven't stopped living since. I don't intend to do so now.
He stops and takes Aubrey by the chin, pulling him up, lifting him. I'm sorry you died. I'm sorry you were killed. You know what they say. They say that the richest place on earth is a graveyard. But we are not dead. Our ideas are not dead.
Nor are we alive.
We exist within this corrupt system. Aubrey, I cannot part from you as I parted from your mother. I didn't know, but it's still... It is a transgression against you. And whatever you ask me, I will give it to you. Whatever I can do to repent, I'll do it for you.
You couldn't tell me anything.
I've
There
lost your
is-
trust.
I was hurt, and I'll be hurt. The beauty of a lifetime, like ours, we have the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives to prove that we are better than our instincts. And I don't have anyone else now.
And with this, Ambrose slides his hands around his waist and he melts against him and he kisses Aubrey the way Aubrey has always wanted Ambrose to kiss him. Ambrose's guard is down. He's no longer pushing Aubrey away, but he's giving in to it completely. And he kisses him deeply.
If the rules, if what people think is that we shouldn't be, then the rules and what people think are wrong. I can't help but know in my heart that we're meant for something more. My mother told me in the drive, and I thought it in my heart. My whole life has been living for others, and for others is when I'm truly happy. Do you realize how many clanless vampires there must be? People that embraced against their will. People that did not want this life but have it now. And it's all they have. And the Camarilla would take that from them. Cast them out or treat them like they don't matter.
Darling, you sound like an anarch, and I love it. This right here is what the anarchs are about. This is the mentality. And you would do well. You would do so well as an anarch. Being that voice, bringing people together, making them understand. But I want you to understand something, Aubrey, that I am no more an anarch than a Camarilla. My destiny is somewhere else. Down a path that I don't want you to follow.
Ambrose, I've never been one for labels. I got kicked off the only one I've ever been on. And The one place I want to be is on the path you're going down. And I don't care where we're headed. Because a journey with you is worth an eternity.
Are you ready for that? The consequences of it? You've seen what happens to people who step out of line. The Four, this entire system. Not only the Camarilla that's after me, but the Thorns and Devora. And much more will come after you. Do you think for an instant that the Sabbat, that people who are Tzimisce would accept you?
You accept me? And I would rather die on my feet than live a lifetime on my knees. Well, unless you're offering.
Oh, God damn it. My humanity, is so low, I couldn't even... Never mind.
If it's meant for that glass coffin, then so be it. But I won't face it alone. Hold my hand when we embrace the sunlight. But as long as your hand is in mine, I have the strength to face it.
Well then, I think we ought to find a suitable spot for our first date. Now, what the hell is open at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I could make a crass joke, but apart from...
You remind me so much of... Never mind.
If you say a younger you, I'll hit you. And
I actually wasn't. I was going to say my... Well, Daniel. He used to make me laugh like that.
oh, I always fancied myself an original, but if I'm going to copy someone, it might as well be someone that brought that smile to your face.
No, you are one of a kind, Aubrey.
Well, let's hope that that's a good thing. Now, I believe even the bars are closed at 2.
So it's just us alone in this big city.
I always fancied a date in the graveyard, but nowadays it seems like that's not as romantic as I once thought it was.
Actually, I didn't mind. I really don't mind. I don't want to take you there, but I don't mind going there. Well, yes, actually, yes, I do. There's ghosts there.
There are ghosts there.
I forgot there's ghosts. There's ghosts in the fucking sewers too, apparently.
Did you know you can't actually kick a ghost?
I knew that, yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, I did.
Who are you gonna call?
Not me.
Is there a Ghostbusters for like vampires?
Yes, they're the
I would Google it, but I don't have the data.
The vampire hunters and the mages.
There's like, yeah, I mean, there's the Giovanni. They used to be called the Hakata. They're called the Giovanni now, something or other. That's what the harvester is.
According to chat, Waffle House. See, we could go to Waffle House, but here's the thing. The good thing about Waffle House is you're never the strangest thing in Waffle House. It's
You know
actually written
what?
on the menu that at any given time, you're not the strangest thing in a Waffle House. It's a guarantee.
Aubrey,
And-
I'm not taking you to a Waffle House. Tonight we have...
I've seen
weathered-
dirtier places. You know what you've never heard inside a
Ed, do
Waffle
you
House?
want to see
Good
a
job
dirtier
cleaning
place?
up.
All right, listen. We have been to the swamplands. We have been through the marshes, through a storm, into open water. We have seen crocomen.
The bowels of human decay.
We've seen the bowels of... I am the bowels of human decay. Let's be really real with that. I've been traumatized. You've been traumatized. We have both been really fucked up tonight.
I
to be
think we
honest
have
with
the
you.
credentials to stomach a Waffle House at this point.
I think we're in shock, and I can't believe I'm saying this. We wouldn't be able even to eat. But
I
I
don't
wouldn't...
think you eat the food. I think you just go there to visit the vomit that hasn't been cleaned up in the bathroom. Like, look, it's still there.
Aubrey, we are not this cheap. Oh God. Okay, fine. Let's go to...
What- do you-
No, I'm not going to a Waffle House. I'm not going to a Waffle House. This is not happening, Aubrey.
So I think that we're just going to end this scene here because it's just going to be a whole back and forth.
I want to be in the Waffle House in a paper hat.
Guys, they do end up going to the Waffle House, and it's they're
They
not
just
the
got
weirdest
black
thing in there.
coffee. No.
So that
Ambrose
was
catches a
tonight's
chair.
tonight's episode of Darkness Over New Orleans. Thank you everyone for joining us.
And it's so sweetly.
Yeah, we're going to just go ahead with our outro. So Thaddeus, want to start us off, buddy?
Why you never cut to Mayfest? Hi, I've been Aubrey Valentine. He has a mother, and she's like no other, and he's very happy about that. My night has been very magical, despite the trauma. Much like my personal life, we parlay that into something really special, and that's thanks to these two right here. Robin, if you will, talk about how amazing you are.
Wow. Hi, I'm Robin the God, and
Yes, Chase.
I'm just here to have silly, fun, goofy times with meatmen.
We started the session
And-
going, we're gonna be silly today, and
We're gonna be so silly today. It's fine. Thank you guys for coming, watching, being traumatized with us. Thanks, Dylan.
all right then.
All right.
And once as always, I'm Dylan, your storyteller. You can find me every Thursday here with Darkness Over New Orleans. You can find me across all sorts of places on the internet. Roll for Dylan. That's about it, really, guys. I don't have much anything else. So thank you very much, and have a beautiful evening, everybody.
We'll see you again next week, guys.
Good night.